Story starts on a full moon night. A girl covered in blood, enjoying the moon while waiting for someone on top of a monster corpse. Then she receives a new mission to bring someone. She was just checking the details when a monster comes to play with her. After some chat, the real game begins. Then the scene shifts to a boy called Cha-Hyeon, Seong, who is getting bullied by other kids. After that, he returns home where his handsome uncle starts to give him some real shit about why he has to raise him after his parents are gone. But in reality, MC is the one who earns money by doing a part-time job. But he is used to it now. After his mother passed away and his father disappeared before his mother's death, he can't even remember his father's face or voice anymore. Sometimes he tries to remember what his dad said before in dreams, but after he wakes up, he forgets it again. But still, his dad is his role model, and he wants to become like him. In the night, he has to work to earn money to barely survive. Then he hears the voice of a woman asking for help. At first, he thought, how can someone like me help? He starts to think about the moment when he gathered up his courage to help someone for the first time, which turned his life into a living hell. Even then, the stupidity of becoming a hero comes to his mind, and he decides to help her and take her to a place where no one goes at night and try to call the police for help. But his hand goes missing. Try to guess what happened. Yes, you guessed it right. It was cut by that weak but beautiful woman. Why? Just because she and her friend were hungry, and no one is this stupid to fall for her method except him. Then the poor, hungry people begin their dinner. Then he remembers his father's last advice, and that advice is there will be many difficult times in your life, and people who will give you pain and suffering too, sometime in the future. And if there's a time you can't bear it anymore, in that moment, kill each and every one of them. His dad sure is badass. Unlike him, the real story begins as our Cha-Hyeon. Seeing transforms and makes them mincemeat. After that, the badass lady from before comes and asks a simple question. Are you a human? He didn't respond and directly attacked her. She smiled and said she liked his answer and cut his limbs off. After that, she introduced herself as Sungae, young. He opens his eyes in the hospital. First, he was confused. Then he remembers what happened and started vomiting. Then a man comes there and asks to call him director. Then MC asks him if he is a police officer. Then that man explains to him that he is from a secret organization unknown to the outside world, and their work is to fight these beasts he fought earlier, and that Mc can transform into a beast. At the same time, on the crime scene where Mc fought, a beast comes. First, the officers on duty think he was a civilian and try to send him away, but he attacked them suddenly and killed the male officer. Then the other one tried to fight him, but she was chopped into pieces. After killing them, he started to think that humans can't kill his kind with that amount of power, and the method is too violent. Then he took some blood from there and liked it. After that, his expression changed and became excited. The next day, Mac was doing his work. Then a man asked him to deliver the food to seat No. 65. I didn't understand what kind of place it is. Is it some kind of internet cafe or an office? If anyone knows, please tell me. Anyways, Mick takes the food to seat No. 65, but he was absent, minded because he was thinking about what happened before. Then suddenly, someone put food in his mouth and asked him why he ditched school, but came to work. What do you know? It's another waifu called Lee Yoonbi. Or maybe it's the first one, because Cha-Hyeon. Seong will make him piss his pants. Let's continue after work. They continue their talk, and Mick answered that he was sick. Then she asked, so sick can work but couldn't read text messages. Mick says that his phone battery is dead, and if he rested for a day, how much money would he lose? Then suddenly she asked, do you smoke? Then Mac said, why would he smoke? Then she asked, why does it smell like cigarettes? Then he answered that it may be because he was cleaning the smoking area. I think we all know the real reason. Then she said he was strange and asked one last question. Did he get into some trouble? Then the flashback starts, where Che Hyon. Song told him not to tell anyone. He asked her if he could at least warn them. Then she said, how would they identify the beast when they just look like humans? Searching for them would just get them killed. And if something happened, is he confident that he can protect the lives of those around him? After hearing that, he didn't dare to tell anyone. Back to the present, he just gave the usual answer that he is tired of the things in his life and didn't want to worry her for no reason. After she left and was talking to herself, she thought that if it's enough to cause worry, he should at least tell her. After that, the scene shifts to a man watching and deciding which food to eat. Some foods have the smell of drugs and alcohol, and some are nasty chunks that he would never eat, no matter how hungry he is. Actually, he is searching for our mech. He thought it would be easier to find him since he made such a big mess. So he thought there are only two possibilities. Either he is avoiding them, or he has not woken up yet. On the other side, Meg is unaware of it and goes to his house. He just takes a breath to relax when suddenly a bottle comes flying and hits his face. It was his uncle, and he starts asking why he didn't give him money yet. Meg tries to explain, but his uncle starts beating him and says that he just asked for 500,000 won, around 350 used. Is it that hard to send that much money? And why does he piss someone off by hoarding that little money? Or did he try to run away and think his house is hell? These are not my words. He just says it like that. I feel the need to use the exact words, and he continues to beat him. After that, Mick thinks back and wonders why he should protect anyone. He hopes they all die, outside of the house. His uncle was talking to someone on the phone and saying that he will pay the money after he wins this time. Then a man comes and grabs his hand. At this time, Mak is outside somewhere thinking that his call log is either Yoonbi or work. It's actually better than mine. Mine is just filled with spam calls. But he was also thinking whether it's home or school where he gets beaten up. He doesn't even have a place to go back anymore, and even monsters are coming to kill him. What a great life, huh? Then suddenly a voice comes. It was his uncle. He starts to think how his uncle came here. Is it not enough that he beat him at home? Is it not enough? But his uncle keeps blabbering about what exactly that man injected him with. Mick thinks that it was drunk blabber again. He is sick of this now, so he decided to stand up for himself and shouted. Then he saw his uncle's face, which completely turned into a monster. He was in shock, and then his uncle attacked him. He asked his uncle to stop and said that he is not a monster. But his uncle beat the shit out of him and said that it was all because of him. Even his mother died because of him. Then Mick also started to think, is it really because of me? Was it all my fault? If all the things happened to him, all the pain he suffered, if it was all his fault, can he fix it by just not existing? He thought about it, and he came to a conclusion that he doesn't know why all these shitty things happened to him. Why does everyone want to beat him up and kill him? He asked that question to his uncle and transformed into the beast form. He asked again to give the answer. MC starts beating his uncle. Then his uncle eats him and says that he was an annoying little weasel since birth. Then a sound comes from his stomach. Is that so? Then I don't have to feel guilty at all. Then he rips his stomach apart and comes out saying that he is sick of it now and he is right here to the monsters who've been chasing him. He is not going to hide or run, and he doesn't care what their identity is or what he is. If they want something from him, kill him and take it. But if they can't kill him, he'll do the killing. Finally, some real shit.